boy Wonder.
What's up guys, it's Tony from Streetball Strategies, where we use strategy to build your streetball legacy. Today we're talking about something we should have started talking about a long time ago, and that is how to begin your streetball legacy. Now I'm obviously in a different position than I usually am. I'm usually back over there on the court, but as soon as I started filming, a pickup truck pulled up to the court, and apparently from the city, and they are putting the rims back on the backboards, which is amazing. I cannot wait to see what it's going to be like when people start to hit the courts again. But as far as the video today, I don't know why I didn't begin the channel like this, talking about how to start your streetball legacy. I can only chalk it up to the fact that I was excited to get the channel up and running, and once I did that, it was just like I have this idea and this idea and this idea, and just throwing them out there as fast as I could. And I just started throwing ideas out, and I kind of was so excited that I just overlooked the part where you need to actually start your legacy. So taking that into account, now that we're here, this is going to become a series of videos covering multiple topics. And I'm going to try to keep them in chronological order in terms of you start here and then you build your way out. I don't know how successful I'm going to be at that, but I will try to keep it in chronological order. And I'm a guy that I like to start at the root of things, the root of processes, the root of the problem. I like to get to the root, handle that first, and then work my way out. But considering that we've already kind of started at the origin of what your legacy is and how it starts, and that is, I made a video of how to develop your love of the game first and then worry about being great later on. I really do feel like that's the beginning point of anybody's legacy, because if you don't love what you're doing, then what's the point, right? So taking that into account, once you have established and developed your love for the game, what happens next in that process is you're going to notice that the game becomes more meaningful to you than your peers, the people around you, the people that you play with on a regular basis. At some point you're going to notice it has more meaning to you than it does to them. You take it more seriously than they do. And that's perfectly fine, that's great. In fact, there's nothing wrong with you taking it more seriously, with it meaning more to you than it does to them. It's at that point that you kind of need to take a step back and pause and think about what your intention is, what your purpose is, your what and why for basketball. Defining your purpose, defining your intention is important because it allows you to give yourself understanding of why you're playing basketball. And if you're concerned and your goal is to start creating your legacy, that's going to take a lot of time, it's going to take a lot of effort, and if you're going to put in that kind of work, then it's a good idea to define why you're doing it and what it means to you. And also that way you can explain it to other people when they inquire about the time and the effort that you're putting into a game, into a sport. Other people are not going to understand your what and why, and you being able to explain it to them is going to allow them to understand and hopefully support your efforts. So let me give you a little background on myself as an example of what I mean by defining your purpose and your intention on the court. So for me, and I covered this a little bit in my video about developing your love for the game, and that is, when I was a kid, I was terrible at basketball and I knew it, but I didn't care because I loved it anyway. I loved the movement of the game, the physicality of the game. And even though I was really bad, even though I barely ever made a shot, I loved it anyway. And for me that was kind of a rarity, because I liked stuff that I was good at and I disliked stuff that I wasn't good at. And I did stuff that I was good at and I didn't do stuff that I wasn't good at. So for example, chess. I was never much of a chess player. I was always pretty bad at chess, and because I was bad, I didn't play, and because I didn't play, I didn't develop any skills, and because I didn't develop any skills, I wasn't any good, and because I wasn't any good, I never played. But I also didn't care. I also didn't care about chess or becoming good at chess. I didn't really enjoy chess. It didn't click with me, and so I didn't care about playing constantly, and so I never got any good. But with basketball, It was different, it was rare. I wasn't good, but I still really enjoyed it. I still couldn't get enough of it.
I underestimated how cold it was out here. It's the middle of June in Michigan, and it's beautiful, but with the wind and Michigan, and me, I'm not as warm as I thought I was gonna be. Anyway, where was I?
Yes, so, I was terrible at basketball, but I didn't care, I enjoyed it anyway. When I was 13, I got a book about basketball fundamentals. I read the book. While I was reading it, what it was telling me was making sense of, you do this to do this, this is how you do this. All that stuff made sense in my head. But because I had such low expectations for myself, I knew that I was bad at basketball. I didn't care about becoming better because I already enjoyed myself anyway. I never expected to build any skills. So reading that book, all of the stuff in the book made sense, but I didn't expect it to make it much difference to me on the court because I was bad and I just expected myself to continue to be bad. When I went on the court, tried the stuff in the book, it actually made a difference. It actually made me better. I did see improvement, and I didn't expect that, but when I did get that improvement, that's what it became about to me. The fact that I was terrible, I enjoyed it anyway, but now I had a chance to improve on something that I already loved and to get better at it. And it became about, what's my potential? Where's my ceiling? If I can get a little bit better, can I get better than that? Can I continue to grow? And the fact that I knew that it was going to take a lot of time, it was going to take a lot of effort, for me, that made it even more appealing. The fact that I was going to have to earn those skills and those abilities made it even more satisfying to me. And you combine that with the fact that I already loved playing, even though I wasn't any good, with the fact that I discovered that I actually had potential, that became fascinating to me. And that became my what and why for basketball. It was that my what was that I loved basketball. I enjoyed it even though I wasn't any good at it. And my why became that I was going to play and learn and try to get better. And every time I would make a step forward and see a little bit of progress, I was fascinated by the fact that I could become better. So it kind of became a cycle, which was, I would try something, I would try to get better at something, I would see a little bit of improvement, I would be impressed that I made any improvement. That improvement would give me satisfaction because I earned it, and earning it would make me want to do it all over again so that I could get even more improvement and even more satisfaction. And just that cycle, doing that over and over again, that became my why. And being able to define that for myself, having purpose, having meaning, having intention on the court, all the time I was spending out there, all the effort I was putting forth, knowing that, defining that for myself, being able to explain that to other people, it gave me the drive to be consistent, to get on the court when I didn't feel good, or I didn't feel like I had it that day, or I woke up and I just wasn't in the mood. Having that meaning, having that purpose, having that intention, that allowed me to be consistent, and that consistency allowed me to grow faster than I would have had I not been able to get on the court as often as I did. I think they finally have the rims back up. We gotta go see this. This is amazing. It's been a long time since there's been rims on these courts, and I feel it's crazy that I was here when they put the rims back up, and the fact that there's nobody out here yet, and like I'm the only person that knows these rims are back on, these hoops. This is great. Unfortunately, I do not have a basketball with me. I would love to be the first person to christen these rims now that they're back up. It's so weird. It's so weird, the excitement of something so simple, of like, oh, there's rims on basketball hoops again. You know, it's weird. It was weird seeing them taken down. I wasn't here personally when that happened, but the fact that you pass by one day and they're here, and you come back the next day and it's like, there's no rims on the baskets. such a weird feeling. The fact that they're back is amazing. So in the excitement of the rims finally being back, I kind of forgot where I was or what I was saying, but I know it has something to do with purpose and intention and putting that together to start to build your legacy. As fundamental as it may seem, as basic, as sensical as it may seem, to go from developing your love of the game to the next step being kind of having purpose and meaning and defining that for yourself, as obvious as that may be, as natural as it may be, don't overlook it and don't take it for granted, because it is important. It's important to have that meaning. It's important to understand it for yourself. It's important to be able to explain it to other people. And it may be easy for you to define what it means to you and why and what your motivation is and your intention and your purpose. That may be easy for you, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's not so obvious. And you don't have to define it all at once. You can work on it over time. It'll change. It'll evolve. It'll develop. You don't have to have a full understanding, a full definition all at once. It all doesn't have to come to you in like one big brainstorm or whatever, but however it works for you, whether it's getting a full understanding all at once, maybe you already know, maybe you already understand, or if you have to work on it and develop it over time, either way is fine. The point is that you do understand, you have some understanding at some point of what you're doing this for, what it means to you, and why you're doing it. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully where you are, if you're watching this in June of 2020, hopefully your rims are back too. Hopefully now you can get back on the court. Remember, I have a series about how to handle getting back on the court after being away for so long. Go check those videos in that playlist out. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so that you're notified of future videos that have to do with how to start your legacy, videos that have to do with coming back to the court after such a long time off. Please hit that bell so that you're notified when those videos are released. Be safe on the court, stay healthy, and I will see you guys next week. Oh, it's still really cold even in the sun. Michigan is crazy.
You know you like that.
Kind of a weird metaphor, right? It's kind of like, I don't know, being incomplete, you know? Having a feeling of like there's something missing, something significant, and then, I mean, if you think about it, like, what are, I don't even know what rims are made out of, what material, but say it's like aluminum, right? The fact that you take a aluminum circle and you add it to fiberglass, and the fact that just that circle missing is so significant, and then you add it back and it's like everything comes back, it's like, yeah, you know, like it's whole again. It's weird, I'm a dork, I know, but like, it's amazing.
You know you like that. You know you like